Baseball from California. The Chicago White Sox in town to take on the Angels. Top of the second inning. Ron Karkovice with the solo blast. 2 outs and nobody on. That made it 1-0 Chicago. His third home run of the season, RBI number 7. That one coming off of Bert Blyleven. Of course, in California, it's hot at night, so everybody wears their bathing suits to the ballpark. Bottom of the 5th inning now with the score 2-0 Chicago. Dante Bichette takes Adam Peterson deep for his 8th home run of the season. RBI number 30. That's a solo shot with a 1 out. That makes it 2-1 Chicago. Then in the top of the 6th inning, Jeff Torborg's White Sox strike for 7 runs. First, a Sammy Sosa triple made it 3-1. And the Lance Johnson RBI single made it 4-1. Then with 2 outs and 2 on, Ivan Calderon will take Bert Blyleven deep for his 7th home run of the season. RBIs number 37, 38, and 39 as Lance Johnson and Robin Ventura were aboard. That made it 7-1 Chicago, but they weren't done yet. Still with 2 outs and 1 on, Ron Kittle up to bat, this time against Willie Frazier. He hits a 2-run homer. It's his 11th of the season. That made it 9-1 Chicago and looked like a pretty safe lead, right? Wrong you are. Well, in the bottom of the 6th inning, Wally Joyner with 2 outs and nobody on will stroke this solo home run. It's his 8th of the season, RBI number 37, coming off of Adam Peterson. That made it 9-2, but it was the bottom of the 7th inning that the Angels knocked around 5 Chicago pitchers to score 6 runs, capped off by this Chili Davis 2-run single into left center field off of Scott Radinsky. As Joyner and Anderson score, that made it 9-8 as the California Angels made a comeback, and Adam Peterson can't believe that the relief corps are blowing that huge 9-1 lead that he had earlier in the game. Angels have come back from a 9-1 deficit to tie this game up. In the bottom of the 8th inning now, Barry Jones pitching for Chicago with 1 out. Luis Polonia hits this one out into left field. And making the catch is Dave Gallagher. Coming home on the play is Dante Bichette. Ron Karkovice can't hold on to the ball. Sacrifice fly RBI for Louis Polonia. And it's now 9-9 as Chicago blows a 9-1 lead in this one. Out off of Mark Eichhorn. And coming around to score is Ron Karkovice as Sammy Sosa slides in safe at third. And Guillen moves down to second base on the throw. The RBI single by Guillen gives them the 10-9 lead in the top of the 10th inning. They add another run, and we'll show you that in a second. 11-9 as Lance Johnson with the drag bunt confuses everyone. Sammy Sosa scores easily. Wally Joyner throws over to third. Everybody's safe, and it's 11-9 Chicago, but stick around. This has been a crazy game. California just might score a few runs in the bottom half of the 9th inning. And the New York Yankees ready to begin a 3-game homestand against Milwaukee Brewers. After Don Mattingly had given the Yankees a 1-0 lead with a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 1st inning, Dave Parker hits this solo home run in the top of the 2nd inning. For Parker, it's his 9th home run of the season. Career hit number 2499. That one came off of Andy Hawkins with not out. In the bottom of the 2nd inning, the Yankees regain the lead when Roberto Kelly singles into left field. Bob Guerin scores from second base. RBI number 15 for Kelly, and it was 2-1 Yanks. Then in the top of the 4th inning, great play coming up here. Andy Hawkins is pitching for the Yankees. Dave Parker with the fly out into left field. But Mel Hall running up makes the nice basket catch. He came a long way to make that catch. Then after Andy Hawkins struck out Rob Deere to end the top of the 4th inning, the lights went out at Yankee Stadium. This is becoming a very common occurrence this season at the stadium as they had a power failure, a 16-minute delay. In the top of the 5th inning with 1 out and 1 on, Jim Gantner with the RBI single through the right side as B.J. Surhoff scores ahead of Jesse Barfield's high throw. Gantner moved over to second, RBI number 1, and that tied it up at 2 apiece. Moving to the bottom of the 7th inning now, with 2 men on and 2 out, Steve Balboni up to bat against Dennis Powell. He'll stroke this single into left field. Alvaro Espinoza scores from second base. Don Mattingly moves over to second, RBI number 16 for Balboni, and that makes it 3-2 New York. In the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 on and none out. Chuck Krim pitching for Milwaukee. Matt Noakes the pinch hitter, and he cranks his 7th home run of the season into the upper deck. That makes it 6-2 New York. They go on to win 8-2. Lee Guterman gets the win. He's 5-2. Dennis Powell takes the loss. He's 0-2. On Tuesday night from the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Kent Hans Herbeck here to pump you up as the Twins are hosting the Texas Rangers. And here's another look at Kent pumping things up. In the bottom of the first inning, Kevin Brown gets some nice defensive help from his first baseman, Rafael Palmeiro, as he snags this Gene Larkin bouncer and then fields it over to Brown for the out. Great play by Rafael Palmeiro. That was the second out in the bottom of the first inning. Then a tough play coming up here for Minnesota second baseman Al Newman. Harold Baines is up to bat. Baines one-hops this one right in front of Newman. He makes the jump and throw over to first base to get him. And here's one more look at the hop, the tough one-hop, as Al Newman gets Harold Baines. And check out these cool hats. Those are 10,000 Lakes hats. Gives a whole new meaning to the term fish head. In the bottom of the fourth inning, a great play coming up by Cecil Espy, the Texas center fielder, as he runs up and robs Brian Harper of a hit. One more look at the great play by Espy. That ended the bottom of the fourth inning. Top of the fifth inning, leading things off for Texas against Roy Smith is Scott Coolbaugh, with the score tied 1-1. Coolbaugh cranks his second home run of the season. It's a solo job to left field. That gives Texas a 2-1 lead on Scott Coolbaugh's solo home run. Bottom of the fifth inning now. Al Newman batting against Kevin Brown. He decides to go home and then decides to throw it in the back of Newman's head. That's an error on Brown as Paul Sorrento scored. That tied it up at 2 apiece. After a Kent Herbeck single in the bottom of the sixth gave the Twins a 3-2 lead. Leading off the top of the seventh against reliever Juan Berenguer is Kevin Reimer. He strokes his first home run of the season to straightaway center field as Kirby Puckett couldn't get it. That tied it up at 3. Then in the top of the eighth inning with 2 out and nobody on, Pete Incaviglia to center field off of Juan Berenguer. His 12th home run of the season, and it was 4-3 Texas. But in the bottom half of the eighth, the Twins score twice. First, Gene Larkin with the triple to the right center field wall. That scores Dan Gladden, and it tied the score up at 4 apiece. And that came with none out off of Kevin Brown, who pitched the complete game for the 4th consecutive game in a row. But he got the loss in this one because 2 batters later with 1 out, Gary Gaetti lifts the sacrifice fly into center field. Larkin scores easily. That makes it 5-4 Twins. That's the final. Berenguer gets the win in relief. He's 5-1, and Aguilera picks up his 18th save.
Seattle, Bo Jackson and the Kansas City Royals took on the Mariners and defeated them by a score of 4-1. In the top of the first inning, Jackson got things going with a 2-run homer to right field off Seattle starter Ryan Holman. It was Bo's 10th home run this season, RBIs 30 and 31, as Kurt Stillwell scored on the home run 2-1 Kansas City. Sac fly later made the score 3-1. Then in the bottom of the 6th inning, Seattle got on the board when Tracy Jones lined the single center field. Edgar Martinez scored, and the score was 3-1 Kansas City. That was it for Seattle in this game. In the top of the 7th inning, Kansas City increased its lead. Kevin Seitzer lined a single to right center field, then knocked in Mike McFarland, and the Royals led 4-1. It was Seitzer's 17th RBI of the season. 4-1 was the final. The Royals got a fine pitching performance from Tom Flash Gordon, who went 8 innings, allowed just 1 run on 6 hits, struck out 5. His 5th strikeout was Pete O'Brien to end the bottom of the 8th inning. Strange play in the top of the 9th inning. Kurt Stillwell with the ground ball to second base. The Mariners tried the 4-6-3 double play. Stillwell was safe at first base, but Mike McFarland was out at home plate. He missed home plate and was tagged out trying to touch it. Gordon got the win. He's 5-4. Holman got the loss. He's 8-6. Jeff Montgomery is 6th save.
Day night in Oakland, Jose Canseco and the A's hosting the Detroit Tigers. Mark McGuire put Oakland up 1-0 in the bottom of the first with a sacrifice fly. In the top of the second, Cecil Fielder with the easy ground ball, and Carney Lansford was to go right through his legs. Fielder rounding first base on the error to Lansford. Still in the second with nobody out, Larry Sheets with the triple into the right center field gap off Scott Sanderson for Oakland. Fielder will score, and that'll tie the game up at 1 apiece on the triple by Larry Sheets. Still in the second with 2 outs now. The Tigers will take a 2-1 lead. John Shelby at the plate for Detroit, and he'll single to right field. Sheets scoring easily on the single, and it's 2-1 Tigers. We move now to the bottom of the second inning, where the A's will get 2 runs, and they'll take a 3-2 lead. Mike Gallego at the plate for Oakland. He'll hit a sacrifice fly to right field off Detroit starter Jack Morris. Scott Lusader with the throw home, but it'll go off Mike Heath's glove as Ron Hasse scores. The ball going into the dugout, and Felix Jose also trots home, and the A's take a 3-2 lead, and that would be the final score. Scott Sanderson making the start for Oakland. He went 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. He picked up the win, improving his record to 9-4. Here back in the top of the first inning, he strikes out Lou Whitaker. We move now to the top of the 8th inning. Detroit with the bases loaded. Cecil Fielder at the plate. And Todd Burns on in relief for Oakland gets Fielder to ground into the inning-ending double play. A big play for the A's with the bases loaded. In the top of the 9th, Dennis Eckersley picking up his 25th save of the year. Scott Lusader grounding out to end the game. The A's take it 3-2. Sanderson with the win is 9-4. Morris takes the loss. He falls to 6-9.
On Tuesday, the Chicago Cubs renewed the contract of manager Don Zimmer through the 1991 season, but the Cubs couldn't come away with a victory on Tuesday afternoon as they lost 6-5 to the Montreal Expos on a sunny day in Wrigley Field. Despite the high score, this game started as a pitcher's duel as there was no score through the first 5 innings. Greg Maddux struck out 7 batters over 6 in the 3rd innings. There he strikes out Andres Galarraga in the top of the 3rd. Then in the bottom of the 3rd, Montreal starter Dennis Oil Can Boyd gets Mark Grace on a strikeout. No score until the top of the 6th inning when Maddux would walk Spike Owen with the bases loaded. Maddux also walked 7 batters. Mike Fitzgerald scored to make it 1-0. Then the next batter would be Larry Walker. He quickly made it 3-0, picking up 2 RBIs with a single to right field. His 18th and 19th RBIs scoring Tom Foley and Dave Martinez, and the Expos led it 3-0 in the top of the 6th. The Cubs came back with 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning on back-to-back home runs. The first one coming off the bat of the hottest player in the National League, Ryne Sandberg, who crushed a solo home run to left field. His 22nd home run of the year, tops in the National League, and his 50th RBI. That pulled the Cubs to within 3-1. The next batter was Andre Dawson. He was 1 behind Sandberg for the team lead in RBIs, but not after this home run. His 18th home run in the year, tying him with Sandberg for the team lead with 50 RBIs. The home run pulled the Cubs to within 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Back-to-back homers by Sandberg and Dawson. In the top of the 7th inning, a Junior Noboa sac fly made it 4-2 Montreal. Then Dave Martinez made it 5-2 with his 19th RBI, a single scoring Mike Fitzgerald. The Expos would blow that lead, however, as Mark Grace would make it 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. With this clutch 2-run double, his 27th and 28th RBIs of the year, scoring Dwight Smith and Ryne Sandberg, and the Cubs pulled to within 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and they would tie it in the bottom of the 8th inning as Shawan Dunston would come up to bat and hit a ground rule double off Dave Schmidt to left field. A fan reaches down over the screen and the ball goes back onto the field. It's ruled a ground rule double because the ball has to go over the screen to be a home run. Marvell Wynn scores the tying run, and Don Zimmer loses this argument as the game was tied at 5 in the bottom of the 8th, setting the stage for Jerry Goff, who led off the top of the 9th inning with a pinch hit game-winning home run, his first Major League home run and his first Major League RBI. That made a winner of Dave Schmidt, who's 3-0. Les Lancaster took the loss. He fell to 5-4, 6-5 Expos.